Be well, welcome to Let's Talk Health. Today we have Lamar Odom with us, and many of you know him as being an NBA star who really gave so many of us joy over the years. And today we're going to ask him how this all began in his life. So Lamar, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here today.
Thanks a lot.
So
Pleasure to be here.
let me know the first inkling that you had that you wanted to be a basketball player and play sports. What age were you?
I would say I was about maybe like 6 years old.
No kidding.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. I think that's how I know it was from God. It's a blessing to know what you're gonna do and what you want to do at such a young age.
You know, we call musicians child prodigies, but athletes are child prodigies too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was definitely advanced as far as the craft of basketball is concerned, the understanding for the game, being blessed with IQ
Yes.
for the game and knowledge for the game. Always willing to learn about basketball still at 40. So,
You know, one of the weird things for me, Lamar, when I was a kid, there used to be a misinformation campaign. I had a friend that was 6'6",
yeah.
and just because he was tall, they said he was going to be a good basketball player. It's not about being tall.
Yeah.
Who were your favorites?
Oh, that was easy for me. Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a big point guard. I was in awe of how he made players better around him.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of my best attributes as a player as well.
You must have gotten to know him over the years.
I have. Incredible man. Incredible journey. Magic Johnson.
14 years.
Yeah, I played 14 seasons in the NBA.
That's amazing.
It was a dream come true until the day I got drafted. And until now, I never really physically like retired or went through the retired process. So I guess I'm still willing and learning the game as we speak today.
Well, some of my friends tell me that 14 years is a really, really long career for a basketball player.
Yeah, the average NBA career I think is about 3 years.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I was able to eclipse that and then some.
What do you think it was that drove you on? So now it's the 5th year, the 10th year.
I guess my love for the game. And I was fortunate enough to be paid well for something I would have did for free.
You and I both know if you weren't doing a good job, they'd stop paying you.
That's true.
What do? They sit players down at some point and say,
they'll put you on a bench.
And it becomes your life, though. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It is a lifestyle. And because of it's a learning process for me, learned a lot about myself, my weaknesses and my strengths, off the court especially.
You grew up in Ohio.
No, I grew up in Queens, New York.
That's what I was thinking.
Ohio, no, yeah.
That's really where basketball is.
Yeah, I'm from the street.
Yeah.
I'm from the street.
So when I was a kid, we used to play ball in the street all of the time.
Yeah.
I was never much good at it.
Yeah. I was pretty good at everything.
Isn't that amazing?
Baseball, football.
Soccer.
Yeah, I played football. Won championships playing football.
So now you're in high school.
High school, I was the number 2 player in the country my senior year.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Boy, that's out of thousands of kids.
Yeah.
So what do they? How do they do? Do they send scouts out?
Yeah, they send scouts to to watch you play high school games and evaluate the talent through different camps. I was fortunate enough to be the number 1 or number 2 player everywhere I played in high school. Yeah.
And so when were you drafted then?
I was drafted in 1999. 1999. That was a dream come true.
And how old were you then?
I was 19 years old.
Can you imagine that?
Imagine.
It must have been.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, overwhelming.
I can't even imagine.
Overwhelming.
The responsibility.
Yeah, you
is
take a
like-
kid, 19 years old.
Yeah.
I lost my mother when I was 12, but I was fortunate enough to have two mothers. My grandmother raised me, her mother, and it was a burden, a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
But it was responsibility I think that I wanted to take on, but I didn't really understand it. The weight of that responsibility.
So what was it like? You come home one day, or your grandmom, and you say, "Grandmom, they drafted me to the NBA."
Well, I mean, I think I kind of like knew.
Okay.
My family knew because of the process of going to college and being adorned by NBA scouts. We kind of knew, but it was kind of like the family dreams come true. My dream came true that night.
And I'm sure you helped grandmom after that.
Of course.
God bless you.
Of course, yeah, of course I did.
So you grew up without a mom and a dad, but
Yeah.
we hear this story so often how the grandmom becomes everything.
Yeah, of course, in the African American community, the grandmother is really strong, holds a strong presence,
Yeah.
all the way from church and to Sunday dinners.
Well, let me tell you, it's important, and it should be that way.
Yeah,
Too bad all communities not like that.
You're right.
They've got the wisdom, they've got the experience,
yeah.
and there's something. We're grandparents,
Yeah.
so there's something.
Are you?
Oh yeah, 8 of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something about when you're a grandparent, it's even different than when you're a parent.
Yeah,
You know, there's a love,
yeah,
sort of a legacy.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of the natural cycle.
yeah.
Well,
It's
because-
a different type of love too.
Yeah,
right?
because grandkids can't do anything wrong, and grandparents can't do anything
Plus you hand
wrong.
them
It's
back
a
when they
perfect
do.
combination.
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to
perfect.
tell you, what a great thing. So Queens, New York, close to where I grew up, and
yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from the city,
Okay.
in New Jersey,
All
they
right.
moved me out to. But the reality, quite simple, is that 6 years old, he was a prodigy
Yeah,
and started to realize that his life was destined to be a basketball player. By the time he was a young man, 15, 16 years old, he was the #1 basketball player out of thousands and thousands and thousands of basketball players in the United States. If you're listening anywhere in the world today, this is an American sport that has really translated globally. There's not a country in the world that doesn't honor. As a matter of fact, more of you around the world probably know about Lamar Odom than a lot of people right here in the United States. We're going to be right back and talk to Lamar about his NBA career.
We're back with Let's Talk Health.
Today we're with Lamar Odom, and we talked about how at a very, very tender young age he realized what he wanted to do for the rest of his life, and how he basically at 19 was drafted out of college as an NBA player. And what team was it that drafted you first?
the LA Clippers.
No kidding. They've
Yeah.
become quite a team now, haven't they?
Yeah, they're really good now.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna challenge the LA Lakers for the to come out the Western Conference for the NBA championship this year.
Yeah, the owners come here.
Yeah, Balmer?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yes.
They come here to
Wow.
the Institute. And they were telling us that they looked at talent in a different way than teams had in the past.
Yeah,
And they treat them differently, too.
yeah,
They befriend them and they support them rather than use them.
yeah.
And so in your experience, the Clippers was a fairly young team at that point.
We were really young.
Yeah.
We were really young, and they were like at the bottom
Yeah, as I remember.
of the NBA. They were notorious for not paying their players
No kidding.
up to par. Yeah,
No kidding.
yeah, and we had some really young talent on my team that were like trying to knock that door down to get them to pay us, and in that process, it didn't work out for me, and with the LA Clippers that year, and so I got traded to Miami, to the Miami Heat. Came down here. And Pat Riley gave me a beautiful opportunity.
Was he the kind of man that we saw the images on TV? Tell us a little bit about Pat Riley.
Well, he's stand up. He's a man of his word. He's a disciplinarian. He's strong, has a lot of knowledge about the game. He played for a racist coach named Adolph Rupp. And his team, the team that he played on, it was in the movie. I forgot the team from Texas they lost against an all-black starting five, one of the first all-black starting fives in college history. And he tells a story about that game.
Well, he must have been a little shocked, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's a
That probably
threshold of information.
That probably rivaled Hitler.
Yeah.
When
Jesse Owens ran.
Jesse Owens won. God bless him. You know, this is, you know, what appalls me still is that we have to still be breaking through. A human being has to break through to be accepted in 2020.
Yeah.
What kind of world do we? What's it feel like for you as a black man? Let's forget being a basketball player today.
Oh, well, you have to always be aware. I think of how you look, how you talk, how you walk. Just have to be, you know, just try to always remember what my grandmother like instilled in me. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Talk to people kindly. And as a black man or a black woman, you know, be God-fearing. And just live your life.
Have you been persecuted upon because you're black in any way?
Of course.
Well, tell some.
I mean, I can't. There's so many I can't even.
Well, give one of the ones that shocked you.
I don't want to expose anybody too much.
You don't have to name names.
I mean, just a random pullover, searching for a car.
Yeah.
Happens every day to young black men in America for no reason.
I know it's for no. This I have to tell this story because it was stunning to Anna Maria. You know, Anna Maria was raised in Europe and in Sweden, and when people come and immigrate to this country, they think it's the freest and best country on the planet Earth. And she used to say to me, "Why do the black people drive so slow?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Honey, when we drive fast, we get a ticket. They
Yeah.
get pulled out of the car and beaten or even shot." And she
Yeah.
said, "No, you're making it up."
Yeah.
She doesn't say that to me anymore.
Oh yeah.
And so, who was the player? It was a basketball player. He was in a Jaguar in Maryland about 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
They pulled
not
him out of the
sure.
car. He was one of the top players at the time. I forget the name of the player. So I mean,
No, it happens, and with me, you know, I'm from, like I was saying, from the street, and I've realized I don't care if I have $1 million in my pocket.
No.
I'm still a black man.
That's right. That's right. It's unbelievable. We what do we have to worry about? Our whiteness?
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing.
So you started at 19, and did anybody ever talk about health and how to keep your health?
Nah,
to
and
eat?
you know what's so crazy, and just about being here at Hippocrates with you guys, like I was an incredible athlete, played on the
Top teams.
Yeah.
Won 2 NBA championships, won an individual award, and I was eating candy before games.
Yeah, isn't it nuts?
I know. Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I was doing that.
Well, I mean, before my time, Muhammad Ali told us that, and Venus Williams, who came here, told us that. They said, just take as much sugar and carbs as you can and get energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wears you out.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I'm hoping that me being here at Hippocrates and going through the progress and the stages and the steps I need to go to, hopefully it can give me a gig, maybe overseas, playing basketball again.
But why not? I mean,
I'm only
look,
40.
40 is young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it's really young.
Yeah.
Let me say this to you. I think we have a new time in history. A
Yeah.
lot of the athletes are in their 50s and 60s, coming back. And I mean, a great sports person like you, a
Yeah.
great player like you, doesn't lose it. I mean, when I was growing up, I wasn't an athlete, I was a musician, but I could stop playing drums for a year and get back and play them again.
Yeah.
Why would you ever stop knowing how to play basketball?
Yeah.
So this is it. We're going to be right back in a minute. We're going to speak about the future for Lamar Odom, and with his newfound health and his vision to become passionate about his life once again.
At Hippocrates Health Institute, we've been researching and utilizing CBD for 10 years. Over the last 3 years, our director, Clement, worked with a nutritional scientist who formulated a high-potency CBD food powder that time releases this mind-expanding, pain-reducing, and naturally fulfilling plant. It provides a complete protein, the essential fats your body and brain require, and acts like a supercharged green drink. Your life will be enhanced by Life Give Body Mind CBD.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Health. Before we went to break, Lamar led us into discussing that here he is on the top teams, champion teams, world-renowned teams. He gets individual awards for being one of the top players in the history of the game, and nobody tells these super athletes what to eat. And he's out eating candy bars. I mean, it's on. So, did they ever have a nutritionist?
Just for one team, that's when I came back and played for the Clippers toward the end of my NBA career. But I never was really like a disciplined eater or anything like that.
And you weren't the exception.
I just went with the flow.
Yes.
Whatever was there, I ate it.
So,
Didn't think about it or anything.
do you ever remember any of the players who were like into health or? Not really, probably.
No, nobody like vegan or like.
No.
Maybe if into health would be getting their food cooked by a chef, if you call
Right.
that healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would think
Probably worse.
Yeah, I thought that was only the extreme.
Who was the guy? Walton. Walton was the first vegan or vegetarian.
Oh, Bill Walton.
Bill Walton, but that was in the 70s, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
he was a hippie.
Yeah, that's right. That's about right.
Yeah, he was a hippie. Yeah.
Why do you think we all did it?
Yeah.
And now it's a different trend. I mean, veganism and athletes are, combined. This is really the future. We recognize, as some of the greats did a long time ago, that to fuel the body, plants are what's there, the highest protein food. Recovery times. I don't know how many times I was told by Venus Williams that she's shocked. She doesn't have the pain. She doesn't have any of that. And you're going to see the same thing. So tell me, by next year, what you picture yourself doing in the future.
Well, if I'm not playing basketball somewhere, it's going to be helping kids through basketball.
Wonderful.
That's what I can see myself doing, whether it's training them or getting them ready for the next level, whatever level they're playing on now, because kids keep you young.
You bet.
Yeah, and so from being here, one of the first things that I noticed was like my skin.
Baby soft
You got the
skin.
glow on.
Yeah,
You got the glow.
it's looking really good, and I'm always like really particular about my skin and my appearance.
Well,
I don't know if I'm vain. Is that the right word to use?
I don't know if you're vain. And look, you're in front of a camera from the time you're
Yeah.
a 19-year-old
Oh my
kid.
God.
No wonder it's not vanity, it's sanity.
Yeah, been on reality TV shows and everything.
Yeah, can you imagine? This is the real reality TV.
Yeah.
Your life.
Yeah.
Your life reality.
That's right.
So,
What about sleep? How much sleep do you guys get when you play? Not much.
It depends on what kind of guy are you.
you got it.
With me,
Out running around.
yeah, with me, I was I was out doing hellish things at the worst hours. But I mean, I would say 8 hours of sleep
All right.
is like that's what you're supposed to get.
That's healthy.
Because sometimes it's hard because you play a game, right after the game you have to travel right
you're
to the
on the
next
plane.
city and you might have the game the next day. So
Well,
you're just fortunate enough to
So
get
we're not going to
8 hours.
skirt over the issue. Everyone remembers, unfortunately, they remember your career and your greatness, but they also remember when you had problems. You left that behind. Tell us what happened at that point in your life.
Well, I'll tell you the story. What actually happened, what made me say, all right, enough's enough. I was like really, was addicted to drugs and addicted to partying and addicted to, I guess, abusing women. And I was going through a divorce, and I'm signing the papers, and I'll go out one night to a brothel. And I knew about this brothel because I used to see the brothel special on HBO.
No kidding.
Yeah, that it was in Vegas. You know? So I said, I'm in
They
Vegas.
advertised.
I'm divorced. Let me go to the brothel. So I go to the brothel, and honest to God, that night I didn't do any drugs that night. And so I go to the brothel, and I don't know if they injected it in me or put it in my drink, but I pass out and I wake up 3 days later, I was in a coma. And, you know, in the coma, they tell my family to say their final goodbyes. Because when I was induced in the coma, I had suffered 12 heart attacks and 6 strokes.
Oh, you're blessed to be alive.
Oh, yes.
So,
So,
I mean, after that, and then, you know, being through so much trauma from losing my mother, losing my son, losing close relatives to me, and suffering 12 heart attacks and 6 strokes, I'm like, I must be here for a reason.
you're not kidding.
You know, and that just kind of just said, all right, well,
This is,
put the white stuff down.
I'm glad that we can clarify what went on because, again, the press, we know about the press.
Oh.
We've been attacked quite often over our lives here because when you're doing good work, when you're standing up, they come right at you. So you all just heard that he did not take these drugs and alcohol, and that somehow it was laced into him.
Yeah.
And when that happens, and he's not the first one I've heard this from. So I know that we've had the great fortune to meet 2 of your children
Yeah.
and your
Lamar.
fiance. And
Lamar and Destiny.
yeah,
and
so
Sabrina.
these are nice kids.
They're beautiful. I
Yeah.
mean, their mother did incredible job. And I say that because due to my career and, you know, my addictions as a professional athlete, I wasn't there for a lot of the time. And so I guess I'm trying to make that up the right way by just spending time with them, introducing them to a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
As we talk, this is not an exception for a professional athlete. We men, including this man, didn't spend enough time with our children. Our work becomes everything to us. And as I pointed out to you, my favorite child was this institute, and it's wrong. And we've got to make it up, and you can make it up. And then your fiance, boy, what a breath of fresh air she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That woman is.
Sabrina Paul.
How long? You met her over a year ago. I
Over a
understand.
year ago, yeah.
Yeah.
She's strong.
Yeah.
And she was in the field of sports. She was with SPN.
ESPN.
ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah. She even played professional women's football
I didn't realize that.
Oh, wow.
for Lingerie League.
No
Wow.
wonder she's strong.
Yeah, she is strong.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's a pleasure to be with you as a human being, and I know you're going to get to the next step, Lamar. There's no question about it.
Thanks for having me, bro.
You too.
Thank you.
You be well.
It's an honor.
I
It's an
appreciate
honor,
you, man.
Lamar.
Thank you.
It's an honor.
Until next week, you just make your life everything you've ever dreamed of. No excuses anymore. Be well.